Hello everyone. Today I am going to discuss a poem namely Freedom to the Slave, written by Henry Louis Vivian Dirigio. Now, Henry Louis Vivian Dirigio is an Indian poet and he is a nationalistic poet and he has tried to influence the youths of India for their own rectification, and he has also provoked them for snatching India's freedom. So naturally, Henry Louis Vivian Dirigio seems to be obsessed with the theme of freedom. Probably you know that there is affinity in between Byron and, of course, Dirigio on the point of freedom. Byron is said to be the poet of freedom or liberty. In the same way, Dirigio is said to be the poet of liberty. He feels the necessity of freedom. He feels the urgency of freedom. That's why he has tried to highlight the importance of freedom in this very poem. In this poem, he has spoken about the feelings of a man who was in bondage and who has now come to the broad daylight. While writing this poem, Byron seems to be influenced by Robert Bruce. You know, there is a book namely Bruce by John Barber, a Scottish Indian writer, Scottish poet. And the line was, freedom is a noble thing. In the book, you will have this line, freedom is a noble thing. And again, Dirigio seems to be influenced by Jacques Rousseau, because Rousseau has also said, man is born free and everywhere he is in chains. And this poem has a line in the very beginning, and it is said to be epitaph of the poem. Epitaph of the poem, and the line is, and as the slave departs, the man returns. The man returns. This line has been taken from a book, namely The Pleasures of Hope, written by Campbell. Right? Campbell is Scottish poet, and he is from Victorian period. So these sources, these words just set the tune of the poem, the intention of the poet. The poet's intention is clear. He wants to show us the necessity of freedom, and it is written in the context of India's Indians. The Indians were in chains for long 2 centuries, and Dirigio has felt it in his own heart. That's why he has written the poem. The poem had, of course, influenced the Indians, the youths of Indians, who had tried their level best to snatch India's freedom as soon as possible through the process of bleeding revolution. Right? So, in this poem, Freedom to the Slave, the very headline takes us to the heart of the poem, to the thematic structure of the poem, to the intention of the poet. And we are sanguine that this line, and as the slave departs, the man returns. meaning slavery will undo the hopes and aspirations of human beings. If a man is slave, then he cannot live the life of man. The moment slavery goes, he starts to live the life of man. Man, I mean free man. If you want to lead your life according to your wish, in the words of Bernard Shaw, we can say that a man is free if he can do what he likes, if he can go where he likes, he can do everything as per his sweet will. Only then he can be a free man, meaning manhood and slavery cannot placed side by side. The moment slavery engulfs you, the man flees. The moment slavery goes away, man comes back. The line is very significant. The epitaph is very significant. Now let's come to the poem. How failed he meaning the man who was in chains. The man who was in chains, how failed he when he first was told, a slave he ceased to be. The announcement was made that the tenure of his slavery is being ended and he is going to be free. The single announcement gives him a paradisal feelings, paradisal pleasure. Got it? How proudly beat his heart when first he knew that he was free. Look at the exclamation mark. It will be an emotional matter to him. His joy knew no bounds when he hears that he is going to be free, when his tenure of slavery is going to be ended. To noble feelings of the soul to glow at once began. He appears to be brightening. He seems to be a noble man in respect of feelings, in respect of status. It was the noble announcement to noblest feelings of the soul, meaning his soul is free. Whenever we feel something, we feel from our soul. When the man is said, the man is told that he is no longer a slave, then his soul brightened, then his happiness flew in the sky. He knelt no more, his thoughts were raised. Whenever he was slave, he had to kneel to somebody else, to his master. He will never kneel to anybody else now. His thoughts were raised. His cognitive self became raised. He thought for himself, he thought for noble things. Before that, his thinking power was switched off. He was a burden, he was a single, inanimated object. Right? He felt himself a man. After getting freedom, he considers himself to be man. Before that, he was not man in real sense of the term. He was physically man, but mentally, in respect of soul, he was not man at all. Right? He looked above. The breath of heaven around him freshly blew. Look at the line. He comes out of the prison, then the open air touches him as if soothingly. He breathes the fresh air, heavenly air. He smiled exultingly to see as the wild birds as they flew. Look at the comparison. Look at the simile. The birds are free to roam about in the sky. In the same way, the man who was erstwhile a slave feels to be a bird. He is also flying in the sky like a bird, as free as bird. He looked upon the running stream that beneath him rolled away. Look at the another comparison. The stream which is flowing as per its sweet will. The river is flowing. Nobody is hindering the river. Actually, this river is, of course, romantic river. We have seen that in Wordsworthian poem, no natural phenomenon is obstructed. In the same way, this river is, of course, Wordsworthian river. And the poet and the man compares himself to the unhindered river. Then thought on winds and birds and floods. Floods meaning water. Wind, I have already told you. And the birds, three comparisons are there. And all these three cases, we have seen the absolute freedom. Now, the man feels himself to be bird, to be flood, and to be wind, and cried, I am free as they. Look at the comparison. He considers himself to be bird, flood, and wind. Got it? Oh, freedom! There is something dear even in the very name. The address is very clear. The speaker here addresses the freedom directly, and he says that your name is very sweet. There is sweetness in your name that lights the altar of the soul with everlasting flame. The freedom is compared to a candle, and its flame, its light is eternal, and it lightens the soul of a man, the heart of a man, psychology of a man, cognitive self of a man. That's why that light the altar of the soul. Look at the word altar. Right? Altar is related to temple, and soul seems to be a temple by getting the freedom. Now, success attained the patriot sword that is unsheathed for thee. So many patriots in the universe unsheath their sword and fight for freedom. Ultimately, success comes. We have seen in the case of India. After much struggle, bleeding struggle, India has won the freedom. And glory to the breast that bleeds. That the patriot's blood does not go fruitless, does not go rewardless. Glory to the breast that bleeds nobody to be free. He does not bleed anybody, he bleeds himself. And he feels proud by bleeding himself and getting freedom. Blessed be the generous hand that breaks the chain a tyrant gave. Right? Blessed be the generous hand that patriots, that people are said to be generous, that breaks the chain. With the help of their struggle, with the help of their revolution, they break the chain of tyranny and they defeat tyranny, and ultimately freedom comes. And feeling for degraded man gives freedom to the slave. And the man was degraded when he was slave, and now he has felt the degraded man's feeling, and he has given freedom to the slave. Actually, in these lines, I think the man is said to be blessed who played the instrumental role to make this man free. right? So hope you have understood well. It's a very fine poem. Thank you very much.